Bloop, 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 bloop. Hello, 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 hello. Once again. So I'm really sorry about that. I have no clue what the heck just happened. Literally just like everything stopped working. Photoshop stopped working. The music stopped playing. My stream stopped running. I'm like, what the hell's happening? I go to turn on I go to my task manager. I can't even click on anything. It just, I didn't even BSOD, but it might as well have. So I just hard restarted my computer. So, sorry. No explanation for what happened there. It just suddenly was like, and it exploded and died. And I'm not happy about that. Because, why did that happen? How did that happen? Break-in time. I guess it wasn't even a white screen. It was just stuff didn't work. I couldn't click on anything. Again, I couldn't even click on Task Manager. PCs. How do they work? Unfortunately, I don't know. So I had to just restart the whole dang computer. I got Snowgrave trapped. Noelle got me. Noelle, why? I've never even done Snowgrave. Why would you do this to me? It's because I was trying to put on your dumb antlers, wasn't it? Yes, I know. Turn on Windows backup. Shush. Shush your mouth. Now everything's trying to restart. Oh my goodness. That is why she did it. It is. Ooh. Well, that was a mess and a nightmare. I haven't had that happen in a very long time. She wants to get stronger. Must you kill my computer to be stronger? Must you do that? It's like that one Deltarune ARG, like Northern Blight or whatever. I need to actually like look up the Deltarune analog horrors and ARGs and see what those are like. For reasons I will not go into. For reasons I need to look at those. I'm not sure how many there are though. Kris is doing what my computer was doing a second ago, just falling into the abyss. Just falling into the darkness. Well, I hope that everybody comes back soon. Again, I'm sorry about that. I could not predict that happening if I tried. Again, there wasn't even a BSOD. It was just like, do you want things to happen? Now they're not happening. Like, at first I thought it was like one of those things where like Photoshop gets kind of weird for a minute and it's like, I don't want to work, and you just kind of have to like close the file you're working on and then reopen it. But it wasn't even doing that. It was literally just like everything stopped going. But how much I depend on computers for my everyday life. They can be scary. No, the Virocrone. I need one of those ambulances to get it for me. Wee woo, wee woo, wee woo. My doctors even get me. Lazy Nazumi. I used to have so many BSOD problems. Like, it was happening to me a lot, constantly. And then I told this to the person who built my computer, and he was like, that should absolutely not be happening. I'm going to send you some new RAM sticks. And so I did put those in, and that did solve the problem. I was getting BSODs all the time, and then since then I've gotten like one, knock on wood, you know. Someone catch Kris! They're falling down again! Wrong thing. So, thank you for bearing with me as my computer went kaput. Oh, thanks, NVIDIA. You're so helpful. You're so useful. And not driving our economy towards ruin or anything like that. Not making it very difficult to get ram sticks right now. I have to say, I hope these ram sticks hold out for a good long while, because I don't want to buy a new one anytime soon. I still have the old ram sticks. I don't know what to do with them. They're just hanging around somewhere. In a bag. Oh, okay, well, you'll see why when we get there. That's the dialogue that's hidden right now. Basically, Kris is wondering that too. Kris is also like, why aren't you carrying me, Birdly? This sucks. You had NVIDIA GeForce PC will just randomly crash. I do have NVIDIA GeForce. I think I had to get it to run certain games, but randomly gone since then. I don't know, maybe that was part of the problem, but again, getting new RAM sticks fixed it, so couldn't have been the whole of the problem. Unfortunately, not very well versed at diagnosing the problem. Heck, even like changing out the RAM sticks was just terrifying to me. I'm like, I don't know, what do you mean BIOS? I don't know what to do with this. Yeah, if it's happening on multiple machines, that does seem like more than just a coincidence. Now I'm gonna be paranoid. It's randomly gonna happen again. This kind of a sudden drop off for no reason. Monster Hunter. Maybe I should try something in the Monster Hunter series sometime. I hear so many good things about it. Yeah, it does seem like a learn as you go type thing. It's pretty spooky if you're not well versed in it, for sure. At least it was to me. Again, it was just kind of weird because it didn't even BSOD. I couldn't even click things with my mouse. It was like everything froze. I really was snowgraved. Noelle's gonna get me. She's gonna get all of us one day, probably. Oh no. Yeah, say if you're going to switch RAM sticks or do anything on the inside, definitely seems like you'd want to unplug it first, because that seems like a problem no matter what. It's dangerous. You could zap yourself. No, don't get Noelle. No. We'll see what she ends up doing in the future. Probably something big. Probably at least making a fountain at the end of chapter 5. That's my prediction. Festival fountain. The Frozen Festival. Yes, I did see that trailer. That was really funny. Made gender discourse, unfortunately, about Ralsei, but it was a cute figure. I want to kind of get it. Oh, what the heck is that? I still need to get like little sword root figures. I want to get like hero sword or sword hero and axe hero and scarf hero. Whatever they're doing there. Tina was indeed in his trailer. Probably smart to avoid Ralsei gender discourse, yep. I don't trust most of the fandom to be normal about it. Tina doesn't know an ad guy. Definitely doesn't. Why would he know an ad guy? I feel like a boot drive would be important for that. That's kind of important, yeah. Yeah, I'm not into Spamtina either, but I'm glad that the Spamtina fans have plenty to work with, because they honestly do. Like, I'm not a Spamtina fan, but it's obvious Spamtina is like a canon thing, so ain't nothing worth arguing with. It's just kind of there in the not even the subtext, just the text. No, they didn't spill over, but again, I think the fact that we haven't had an outdoors one yet will mean that an outdoors one will be kind of a big deal. I think if you were going to do an outdoors one, a festival would be the place to do it. You ordered the whole squad! Maybe I can get those for my birthday. I want all the hero guys. Toby pans for Yuri in the game dev riverbed every day and keeps getting yow when he throws his prospect head on the ground and shouts at the sky in frustration. The problem is, no, he is panning for Yuri and he's finding plenty of Yuri. The problem is when he goes to like sell the Yuri at the at the store, at the general store, they're like, oh, you can't get much for that Yuri. Now if you give us some yaoi, there's some real dollars. The Yuri is there, people just aren't buying it. Oh, I think the roaring will be a flood too. Basically, I think that the roaring is going to be different things depending on your perspective. I think in the light world it's a flood, and then in the dark world it's like the Titans. Because the Titans are already kind of compared to like forces of nature, so like that is the force of nature in the light world, and in the dark world that's the Titans that are just wrecking everything. They're doing the same thing from different perspectives in different places. Oh my goodness. What an anagram. There is no non-romantic explanation. It's the main Yuri. Well, we know that the knight exists in the light world in some form because Susie saw them. She says it was too dark to see what they were looking like, but she saw someone doing that. So they are not a darkener. They can go into the light world. What they look like, mystery. Mystery. Maybe someday we will find out, I hope. I don't know, will we ever find out what happened there? I am, though, glad that we got chapters 3 and 4 together. I think the fandom would have exploded into an even worse state if we just left off with chapter 3 and had that with the shelter. Good grief. I think people would have genuinely gotten messed up. No, she did. She says she saw someone down past the church, and then we see somebody go. We see the shelter there, and then the door closes. So I think saying, "Oh, it's the night," took Undyne into the shelter, especially since like she says this to Rousey, and Rousey doesn't contradict it. Like I don't think she was able to see exactly who it was, but I think that the fact that it was the knight taking Undyne into the shelter is a fair assumption. because that hasn't really been refuted yet. Would have cannibalized someone, seriously. Yeah, seriously. No, even when I was playing with my friends on stream, if you guys recall, the belief was like, oh, we're going to go into the shelter next chapter. I can't believe it. Nope. Church time. Honestly, I'm not quite sure how much of a sheltered dark world we'll even see if, like, we do go there. It seems like, oh, we're gonna have chapter 7 in the shelter. I don't know about that. I don't think, like, if there is a dark world in the shelter, which, well, okay, there is a dark world in the shelter. I don't think we're going to be spending that much time there if we go there. Feeling fractal, you're on a roll, incredible. It could have been our reality, good grief. Yeah, it could be pretty small. I'm not sure what they're doing, like, imagination-wise with it. Certainly exists in some capacity, but how much there is to explore, I don't know. Probably less than we think. Interesting. Yeah, that's true. Like, I won't say it's not plot important. It's obviously plot important. But just because something is plot important doesn't mean it's going to take up all of our time. You can get a lot of stuff done in a small area. I think it's going to have a very big impact, but not take up a lot of space. I'm not sure how far I can go before I need to do a stretch again. I'm kind of constantly saving now. I'm so paranoid. What did my computer do? Like, who knows what we'll be doing in chapter 7, but I imagine it's going to be like a lot of different things and not just, oh, we're in the shelter the whole time. We could be going crazy. Things are crazy. Yeah, I could see that happening. Heck, I could see that happening even in a festival dark world. If it's outdoors, maybe like, you know, because we haven't defined the boundaries of it super well, then we're kind of switching in and out between light world and dark world. I think that could be a really interesting situation. Yeah, that is a problem with it, is they don't scale 1-to-1 with the light world. They tend to stretch out space. But either way, I think you could do something really interesting with an outdoor dark world and how weird that can get. I guess it also depends on, like, okay, what actually causes the roaring. Because I don't think just, like, making a dark world outdoors is what does it. Apparently making multiple fountains doesn't do it either. I'm guessing that it's my guess is that what actually kicks off the roaring is, like, kind of multiple dark worlds going up at once. Too much for it to be tackled one at a time, so it just kind of gets overwhelming. Gonna lurk for lunch? Okay, that sounds good. Have a good lunch, lurk. Lurk lunch. Whatever order we say that in. Well, I gotta stop soon and do my stretches. Maybe once we finish Noelle and Susie here. Got all sidetracked by my computer going kaploof. Which is not very fun. Please don't go kaploof again, computer. Actual illusion the way Ralsei describes. Yeah, it seems like, yes, the physical body does exist. And we can tell this from Birdley. You know, whether you fry his wing or snowgrave him. That carries over to the light world. And presumably also if they use, you know, save points, then that will heal them of any injuries they received in the dark world. So at the very least, yes, I think the two worlds do affect each other. Oh, thank you. Lining is like my favorite part, so that's why I often do it on stream, because I don't really have to think about it. I just kind of like go with the flow for it. So I like doing it on stream so I can like chat a bunch. Yeah, for some people it's like, it's a, you know, the tough part, that's where you gotta control Z a bunch. Every artist has a part that they probably like the least. And it's like, this is the part that's really hard to do. And this, for me, is the easy part. Although I'm gonna fix this up here a little bit. Yeah, line work's the easy part for me. So that's why I like doing it on stream. That and fills. Okay, I've gotta do a stretch break. So I'm gonna do that. It loses their hand and then they save it and it comes back. See, that's kind of what I think will happen in terms of like Kris losing their hand. I think it's gonna get cut off in the dark world and stuff like that, and it will, and when you get back to the light world, the hand will still be there, but it's effectively paralyzed and dead. Like, they can't use it anymore. Even if it's not gone, it's effectively unusable. Because that seems to be what's going on with Birdley getting his wing fried, is that, you know, it's there, it's not fried in the real world, but it's effectively unusable. Passive Kara. Oh. Yeah, those theories, it seems like those are working off strictly the Undertale Suzy, not Susie as we know her in Deltarune. Seems like there's already a difference between Undertale and Deltarune Suzy, just based on the fact that their names are spelled differently, which is an interesting detail. It is frustrating that even after, like, 10th anniversary stuff, we still don't know what Undertale Suzy looks like. I thought for sure we would see her in, like, the anniversary stream. But I was kind of hoping it was like, you know, post-pacifist, you go back around and stuff, if you go to, like, New Home, that we would see her, like, sitting at the piano, playing a public piano, and then Frisk could, like, join her, and they could just, like, do a little piano bit together, and didn't even have to say anything. I think that would just be a really sweet moment. But that didn't happen. Sadness. Let her be musical. Like, I remember theories that, like, Suzy was another human in Undertale because, oh, you came here to, you know, find Suzy. So the idea was like, oh, Frisk is there to find another human. And that does not seem to be the case. You gotta write that fanfic yourself. True. Pick up that pen, Garrison says. How is my day? My day is okay so far, except for the fact that a little while ago on the stream, my computer just kind of broke. Everything stopped working. I had to restart. So that wasn't great. But otherwise, I'm hanging on. I don't know. Maybe. My pet theory, again, going back to half-human Susie, is that the reason why they're spelled differently is that, you know, the universe is just a little bit different in Undertale. In Deltarune, she has a human and a monster parent, and then in Deltarune, she has a human and a monster parent, and then in Deltarune, good grief, I can't talk. In Undertale, she has 2 monster parents. So she's the same, but she's also a little bit different, so her name's a bit different. And the reason why we don't see her at all is because if we saw her in Undertale, we would see, oh, there's something different. Like, I don't know, maybe she has a proper tail in Undertale. Get it, Undertale? Oh, was there a patch to change that? Huh. I'll have to see the differences between that. But first, I will be right back to get orange juice and stretch. Alrighty, I am back with my juice and stuff. And we'll continue on. I guess I'm assuming that the patch they added was like, they might have just mentioned Susie like on her own. It's like, oh, you came here for her kind of thing, which does make it kind of sound like she's a human. But then if they patched in my neighbor's daughter, then, you know, that's gonna be like, okay, that's a monster. Cause yeah, the whole like she's the reason you came here in the first place thing That's very weird if you only have Undertale's context, and it's like, what do you mean this character is the reason that Frisk came here? Why would Frisk come here if it wasn't for, like, you know, to find a human? But, like, okay, it's meet my neighbor's daughter, then that clarifies things a bit, I'm assuming. Even Rouse is a little bit annoyed. Also, this is mostly the same. I'm wondering if I can't copy paste this a bit. Save myself some no, what do you mean? Yeah. Save myself some time. Oh, maybe. I feel like that dialogue has gone through a couple different iterations depending on, like, what version of the game you're playing. Because also, like, the whole don't despair, the time you'll meet her is fast approaching only showed up in, like, the Switch. In, like, the most recent versions of the game. That wasn't in, like, I'm pretty sure my version of the game does not have the, you know, the time you'll meet her is fast approaching aspect. I'm pretty sure that's Switch only. So that's gone through a few iterations, which is interesting. And so there's a limit to the things you can do. Well, I think the thing is, it depends on how you're looking at it. Like, I don't think these two things, like, for Sans, these two things happened in different times. Basically, Sans was in Deltarune's universe first, and then he went to Undertale. But for those two universes, like, as universes, one did not necessarily happen before or after the other. They're both kind of out of sync. They're out of sync with each other, and I think that's going to have to be true just because of the fact that, like, there are certain characters that, you know, are certain ages are here together when they would not have been in Undertale, and etc., etc. So Undertale and Deltarune are already not synced in terms of, like, time frame. So it doesn't really matter if one happened before or after the other. That they are parallel, that they are happening simultaneously and not at all together. They are independent of each other. Because the song titles are called It's Raining Somewhere Else and The Place Where It Rained. The important thing is not the time that this happened. The important thing is the place. Because I do still think that, yes, Undertale Sans is from Deltarune. I think there's way too much evidence for it to be dismissed. Like, we wanted to drive this home in a lot of ways. And I don't think it's because Sans is, like, God's special little boy or anything like that. Oh no, I'm sorry. Cursed ad? Basically, the idea was that between the two songs, one is called It's Raining Somewhere Else, and the other one is called The Place Where It Rained. So the difference between them is not, like, the time, but the place. I think the universes are already kind of out of sync with each other. One is not necessarily happening before or after the other. Because certain characters that, you know, would not have existed at the same time do exist at the same time. Some characters that are were kids before are teens now, and etc., etc. So, I don't think trying to put those two things on a timeline with each other is going to work. Basically, again, the important part is that the place is different between them in terms of universe. Like for Sans, he might have experienced Deltarune first and then went to Undertale's universe and experienced that second. But that doesn't necessarily mean that, like, those two things happened one after the other. Time and space are funky. Well, one is not a sequel or prequel of each other, basically. They are working independently. What a splash! Splash Mountain. So I hope that makes sense. Yeah, get out of here. Like the mysterious time man must experience time in a linear sense. No, it's wibbly wobbly, timey wimey stuff. You know, the memes. Time is funky that way. Funky time. Won't you take me to funky time? Ugh, I'm gonna sneeze. Ugh. Sneezy time. Why did that take so hard to do? Why did that take so much effort? It was just one sneeze. Ugh. It's the most effortful sneeze I've had in a while. Why does he hate his Gaster name? What's so bad about it? Is it because it's an ant's butt? Isn't like being named after an ant's butt? People call him Mr. Ant Butt. That's why he hated it. Now you can't say it anymore. Is that his dead name? Get over yourself, Mr. Gaster. It's also a Wingdings font. Well, that's technically the font is named Wingdings Aster. But who knows what is going on with Gaster? Pokemon plushies! Which Pokemon are you getting? Wonder if they've made a plushie for every Pokemon there is. That's thousands of plushies. Silvally! I love Silvally. When are we getting Type Null and Silvally in Pokemon Go? It's been like 10 million years. I want Silvally. I want my weird little griffin looking guy. It's like the only griffin looking, like, Pokemon in the whole game. Where's Silvally? Well, I guess the point is that it kind of looks more like, you know, Arceus than anything else, but still kind of griffin-y. Noivern also very good. Love Noivern. Now Kris is sopping wet. Blech. Yeah, where's my freaky weird Frankenstein friendship dog? We love us a freaky, weird Frankenstein friendship dog. It has not come up yet in Pokemon Go, which, when is that going to happen? That's Kalos, right? That's the French one? I'm trying to remember which generation it is. I think it's Kalos. So we're well past that now. It was best in the better game about a dog that time travels. No. It was not. Silvally is Alola? I could have sworn Silvally was before that. But maybe I'm stupid. Huh, I didn't realize it was that later in the gens. Okay, so maybe it makes sense we haven't seen Silvally yet. Oh, Ghost Trick! Ghost Trick is amazing. And I do love me Ghost Trick, but no, it was not based on Ghost Trick. Even though Ghost Trick is the best. Okay, so it was Sun and Moon. Weird. How wild. I don't know why I thought it was in Kalos. I guess crazy stuff kind of happens in Sun and Moon. It was created to fight Ultra Beasts. All these Ultra Beast problems. Oh yeah, Go does have Gen 7 Mons. It has all the way up to Scarlet and Violet. They've been releasing Scarlet and Violet Mons, but they just have certain generations they haven't gotten everything for yet. Heck, we still haven't gotten Arceus, and that was Gen 4. I'm sure they'll do like a big event for Arceus, but no sign of it yet. Where are you, Arceus? Okay. It's Wet Beast Wednesday. By Wet Beast, we mean Kris. And like, we've gotten Ultra Beasts and Pokemon Go, but we haven't gotten Silvally. You've gotten Ultra Beast multiple times, for that matter. Although I might be missing some of them, I'm not sure. I think I've got like one Stakataka. Some of them are a bit regional, which, well, that's always fun. And by regional, I mean like, you can't access this Pokemon unless you're in South America. Do you want a Relicanth? Well, get your butt over to New Zealand. Okay, have a good lunch. My lunch will be coming up soon enough. Do you want a Buffalot? Go to New York City. Like some of the regions, like, okay, it makes sense to like only have this in like a tropical region, but again, some of them only being in like a singular city or New Zealand or something like that, it's like, that's a little unfair. Not everybody can travel the world. Do a little blah, blah, blah. I'm gonna add all the motion lines here so you can tell what's happening. Probably go over the water with another brush anyway, though. Blurble, 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 blurble. Honestly, I am glad I got enough done on this particular comic to actually work on it today. I thought we were going to have to do more backgrounds for the ending, but about just enough to make a little bit of progress on this. Honestly, depending on how far I get on it next week, I might do that more next weekend as well. Ooh, art request. Silverly being cute. Okay. I gotta start up Firefox. I didn't start it up when I did my thing. Come here, Firefox. Where's my thing? Find a picture of Silverly. There we go. Okay, we'll pop over. Oh, I gotta open my thing again. Where did that go? It's fine, I gotta go open it. Didn't save it. Get over here. Get my Stream Doodle page up. Okay, Silverly being cute. I don't think I've actually drawn Silverly before, so hope I can make him look cute. I was trying to figure out, okay, how does this thing work? Got like a little weird nose going on. I'm gonna have to, good grief, I'm gonna have to get down a little bit with this guy. Silverly, look at my Franken dog. Alright, because the little thing on his head is so large. I'm gonna give that room. Just a weird little pupper. With big old claw guys. If you can't summon a god Pokemon to fight aliens, make your own. Aww, Endogeny. Aww. That's kind of cute. Was transformed through the power of love and friendship. I know younger people might be like, power of friendship is so corny and lame, and then you get older and you're like, no, actually power of friendship really can do that. That's the reason why we keep putting it in all our stuff, that really do be like that with the power of friendship. Alright, because considering I have not drawn Silverly before, you'll have to forgive I'm not looking the best, but we're trying. How have I never drawn Silverly before? Okay, I have to make him a little bit smaller. He got really large. No, not like that. We make him small enough to fit in here? I have to scooch Rouse over a tad. That's fine. Puppy! He wants to play with the babies too. Yeah, come on. I'll scooch you over as well. Bloop. Okay. There's Silverly. Yay! Yay! I actually have never seen Fight Club. Probably one of those movies where, like, it's probably not for me. I don't know if I would enjoy it that much. Like, the little bit I did see of it, I kind of had to stop because I'm like, oh, this is really violent. I'm not having a good time. Although, I can certainly appreciate, like, you know, what it was trying to do. I'm sure it is very well made. That it is a well-constructed movie. Things are usually, like, a classic for a reason. Just sometimes those classics are not for me. As long as you don't take the wrong thing away from it, where it's like, I want to be just like Tyler Durden. And the whole point of the movie is that, no, you do not want to be like him. Sometimes it is difficult for that to come across. It's like that Garfield meme of, you know, Garfield crossed out, no Garfields, and Garfield's like, I wonder who that's for. Interesting. I wouldn't be surprised because, like, the whole concept of, like, Suzy Q is kind of like the same as, like, kind of a Jane Doe kind of thing. Like a Suzy Q is just kind of like a normal person. We're just ordinary men. We're just normal men. What you mean by that? We're just ordinary men. Yeah, a Suzy Q has been around for a while in various forms. But I would not be surprised if it was also a font. I do like doing some cross stitching though, that's fun. I do some of that for my own self. Although if the theories before Deltarune came out are that Suzy was in reference to like a font, did anybody try and draw like a little Suzy skeleton font? Since all of the other skeletons were based off of silly fonts. You know, for a while people were like making up their own, like, you know, font skeleton OCs. I really should get like a picture of a soccer ball and trace that for soccer ball patterns. Soccer ball patterns are hard to do otherwise. Only one that did that? Okay. Alright, I think it's time for my stretch break again. It's been a little bit. Got caught up in all the things. Okay, stretch break time. Here we go. Well, now we've looped back around, I guess, to Susie's related to Gaster. He's just a skeleton dragon. There's nothing saying he can't be a skeleton dragon. I'm like, guys, I don't think it works like that. We have to find a way to make Susie and Sans the Papyrus be secretly related to each other. I don't think we got to do that. I don't think that's necessary. Sans is related to Sans. Uh-oh, then what are we doing about all the, AU Sans shipping? We're taking self-cess to a whole new level. What if Papyrus is related to Sans? They say they're brothers and everything. Woo! It is what it is. That's true. I mean, it's not that often that you get, a character that everybody's like, I'm going to ship them with themselves 10 million times over. It's kind of like a beautiful thing to see in the wild. Like, the phenomenon for that to happen is, I don't know if you could replicate it if you tried. It just it's just one of those, like, weird offshoots of fandom evolution, and it's like, how did this happen? What a strange outcome. Kris cest? How does that work? Is it AU Kris's? I didn't think there were that many AU Kris's. Is somebody shipping Eldritch Rune Kris with somebody else? Because I don't think they'd enjoy that. Dark World, it's the same person. It's like shipping myself with myself from, like, yesterday afternoon. I don't think there's that much of a difference. That remaining vessel in Kris? I don't know, just like from a shipping perspective, I'm not sure how much that, I'm not sure how much there's to grab onto that. Again, if I'm shipping, I guess if you're into, shipping your clone. And due to Lynx yesterday eating lunch. Well, when I eat lunch today, and she can ship me with eating lunch yesterday, oh boy, the sparks will fly. Is that shipping, though, if they're just staring at each other? I feel like you'd have to at least draw them making out or something. Alright, I'll be right back for one more stretch and all that goodness. Alrighty, I am back. Ready for more. Oh yeah, I saw that in my recommended and I didn't click on it. I will say I find it kind of funny that, like, I first posited, like, oh, what if Kris is the vessel in Paper Trail? And then, like, since then, with the new chapters, I have moved way further away from that. I don't think that's the case. And then everybody else has been like, what if they're the vessel? I'm like, I said that, like, in chapter 1, and I changed my mind. Why are you all on that now? What's happening? Maybe just because I don't care that. Okay, the one good thing that would come out of, like, Kris being the vessel is all those people that were like, I hate Kris and I can't. They're a traitor and I can't wait to get my vessel back and beat them up and blah blah blah. Like, that crash out would be really funny. But aside from that, I'm not really on board with Kris as the vessel theories. I think they got plenty enough angst just being a regular person without having to be like, and then they were also secretly a fake person. Work for the meta plot of these games in some ways, but I've never lived with. Yeah. Yeah, I kind of feel like it's important that Kris was, you know, a human and that their past really happened. That they really experienced all those things. They would have to experience all those things as, like, you know, an actual human. Like saying the player loves Vessel and hates Kris as a trans metaphor fan art, huh? Could do interesting stuff there. Again, maybe just because, like, I just do not care about the Vessel. I don't even remember what traits I gave it. So anybody's like, I want my Vessel back, I hate Kris. I'm like, no, I don't care about that thing. I care about the actual child in front of us. With an actual life. I guess that kind of falls into, like, the same category as stuff like, oh, hometown isn't real, kind of thing. It was, you know, all made up by guests, or, oh, they're in a time loop. The things they experienced aren't real. Like, it's the same kind of thing as, like, oh, Last Thursdays and the stuff that, you know, the Darkners believe is true. That's not real either. That was made up on the fly, and that's kind of been proven wrong at this point. We actually don't have Last Thursdayism, so I don't really think the point is like, oh, the things you think are real are not real. Oh, no. Yeah, like, that information is stored somewhere. And if we get the Vessel back at some point, okay, that's all well and good. Just like, I just don't care about it that much. I want to know what's going to happen with the actual characters we've met and hung out with. Is there discourse about that? I think the whole point is that, yeah, it exists somewhere in New England. That's a real place. Susie uses bubbler. She uses New England like slang. Susie already broke the prophecy. No, I think it's cool if we actually have to worry about it. Checkmate, atheist. You can't find hometown on a map. There probably is, like, a hometown USA somewhere in the United States. There's probably one in, like, every state for that matter. It's like Springfield. Get my terrible soccer ball. Yeah. How do these things work again? Yeah, seriously. It's in 5 states at once. Good luck finding it, losers. Yeah, no, I agree. I don't think you can disprove it right now. I think it's an option on the table. I just don't like it very much. I don't want it to be true. I don't think it would really be in line with the themes we have set up so far. The thing with stuff like, oh, you're trapped in a simulation, oh, you're trapped in a time loop kind of stories is like, then the point of it is that you have to escape the time loop, or you have to escape the simulation. And if that doesn't happen, then it's like, well, what was the point of actually putting them in that situation? It reduces the stakes. Yeah, it's like, if there's nothing to actually worry about, that sucks. I want them to actually have to worry about things. And I think the way the Dark Worlds have been set up so far is that, like, yeah, they are quote-unquote not real. They are a fantasy, but they still matter. They still have an impact on you in the real life. The same way that, you know, this game has an impact on us in real life, even though it is quote-unquote not real. Yeah, I think the prophecy is going to happen no matter what, but I think we can tweak things a bit so that the outcome is not the same, even if it does definitely happen. Yeah, like the I am no man thing, which is why I think that, like, if the prophecy is like, okay, Kris or Susie is supposed to take the soul from Kris, that can be read as, oh, she has to kill them. But if she cuts off their hand instead, we can, like, get around that, basically, even though that means that it has technically still happened. I mean, maybe it could be a secret boss. That might be neat. I guess also my problem is, like, I don't understand people, like, ascribing things that the vessel wants to it. The vessel doesn't want anything. You shaped it to be as yourself. Unless you gave it ambition, which I didn't. I'm pretty sure I gave it, like, either kindness or voice or something like that. Then, like, it doesn't want anything. It's just a doll. The only time I hear one cry when it's all over. Epic organ music. A spin where, like, it wants to be controlled could be interesting. But again, I'm just not sure about, like, oh, the vessel wants this, wants that. I don't know what the vessel wants. The vessel wants cold food. Yeah, I don't remember what even gifts I gave it. Like, what hair did I give it? I don't know. Some hair. It wasn't bald. No, well is the ambition. Yeah, it will not hear. That is an interesting thing. You can upset this guy, I guess. Don't worry, you can say mean things about it. Vessel wants to rebuild communism. You don't know, they might want that. Soccer ball. Was soccer invented now? It doesn't matter, it's invented now. We invented soccer just for this. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it'll come back. Maybe it won't. Shruggity shrug. I'm a bug. Kris gets her huggy. I feel like Rouse would be more Kim. I did like that one fan art that I think Dat Soldier did of like various Deltarune characters in Disco Elysium style. That was pretty fun. Susie would be Harry? Probably. She's got so many problems. I don't know. Kris got a lot of problems too. Kris or Susie could be Harry. I just feel like the, you know, person who's at least trying to keep it all together and is also the one who knows everything, Kim, that would be Ralsei. Susie is Kuno. Join for kindergarten cop. What, you don't want to see Kris with the mutton chops and the weird smile that everybody thinks is creepy? Gasser is the deserter. I don't know, I kind of feel like our attempts at assigning Deltarune characters to Disco Elysium characters might be doomed from the start. They're not the best matchups in the world. It turns out that no, you can't make Harry a witch finding the lost cat in the Alps. It's actually a kind of important deal that he's this, you know, absolute mess of a white guy detective. I guess Carol and Joyce would match up pretty decently. Big capitalist with lots of power and a boat. Kris being invested in disco with grunge. What kind of music does Kris like? We know they play the piano. Is there a genre of music that's their favorite? What is it? That's true. Carol, she doesn't have a boat, but she has a really big house. That maybe in a roaring flood will be like a boat. It probably will not. Funk. Yeah, but piano can cover a lot of different styles. Which style is it? What makes you think Carol is capitalist? She's yelling at Asgore to start selling flowers. He can't give them away. That's pretty capitalist. Pay his rent. You know, landlord, that's capitalist. She's bougie. She's bougie. The holidays are wealthy. They're the wealthiest thing in town. Yeah, plus I guess the nearest body of water is the lake. Is that big enough for a boat? I mean, I guess it is. Looks pretty big. It's pretty large. Here comes a kitty. Kitty my nitty. You really gotta wonder, because we know that the holidays are rich. How do they make their money? Is she like also the only landlord in town? Because usually being a public servant, at least ideally, it's not supposed to make you that rich. Is she just giving herself a giant salary because who's going to tell her no? Where are you getting that money, miss? She's the landlord, therefore she is evil. Oh no. Is she a lawyer? It could be inherited, I guess. Also, thank you for following. We're discussing weird things about Deltarune. Is Carol a landlord? Is she a lawyer? Did she inherit her wealth from Santa himself? Where did Santa get the wealth? He's Santa. He's not supposed to make money off of it. How do I get that line control? It is decades of practice. It just is. And also, this is like the part I enjoy when I draw. I really like doing the line work. So it kind of goes speedy for me. Humans have like the first family's rich. Okay, so they're like first family privilege, I guess. I don't think the Dreamers are that wealthy though. Like they have a decently sized house, but are they wealthy? Santa's a Christian bishop. I guess it depends on if you're talking about like Saint Nicholas or like the mythical Santa Claus. Also, Noah, why were you scared of Santa? He's gonna hitch me up to his sleigh. Asgore definitely is not. But I'm like, is Toriel wealthy? I don't really think she is. She seems, I mean, she's a teacher. Those tend to not be wealthy. She's just kind of like middle class. They do have a decently sized house. They're not in like a little apartment. Susie is definitely supposed to be portrayed as poor compared to the Hollies, who are rich. I guess being a cop pays decently, yeah. Although Max Luke does have to share a place with his cousin, or their cousins. Yeah, upper middle class makes sense. So they must have made a bunch of money while he was a cop, because teachers do not get a lot of money, I can tell you that for certain. Especially a small town teacher. Teaching the little kids. Alfie's getting a decent salary. She's just spending it all on anime. Asgore was a cop, which being overpaid canceled out Toriel being underpaid. I guess so. Maybe I would hope that the Deltarune world has some things a little better. Maybe cops aren't, you know, the worst in this universe. I don't know how you would get around that, but it is a fantasy. And the places that you know seem like fantasy. I think that Carol has other reasons for hating Suzy. I don't think it's just that Susie's poor. That might contribute to it. But I don't think that's the whole of it. Suzy definitely seems wary about, like, authority in general. Cops, certainly. And she's a little, like, blown away by how wealthy Noelle is in comparison. But I think Carol might have other beef with Suzy besides just the fact that she's poor. Something else is going on there. She does love suplexing random people. That she does. I'm sorry, I've been busy. Work's been kicking my butt. Work's been really hard this week, and it's going to continue to be hard for a while because of the stuff that happened with the director. It's stabilizing a bit. We've at least got through all the meetings and stuff. But I don't have much time to look at a new Discord server. How did the reviews go? They took a while. Normally I can get through those in like under an hour. This took 3 sessions. Ugh. It was a lot. It got really tiring. I do have a floater who's helping me out on this episode. And I'm a little bleh about that because normally I'm like I pride myself on doing really well with my job. I can usually get stuff done like early. I can get the whole episode done myself. But with this episode there's just so many changes that a floater is helping me out on some sequences. So I gotta set aside my pride and be like, yep, I need the help for it. By having the help, I'll get it done on time, which is good because every department is getting slammed. But yeah, it's at least the meetings are done now. It's just a matter of doing all those changes, which I will deal with. But yeah, work is keeping me very busy. Lots to do for that. Unusual from the amount of work I usually do. Okay, that would be really... People always like, oh, the Seven Flowers are going to act like, you know, the humans from Undertale. It would be funny if they were from Paper Trail. I don't think that's going to happen, though. I would explode and die and laugh if that happened, but I don't think that's going to happen. Is the end product better? At least, hopefully. At the very least, the end product is what the director wants, and that's what matters. Like, I don't think it's necessarily better or worse. I think it's a lateral move. Personally. Because I think we were already doing really well. Just the things we have to do are now different. But hopefully they're still done well. Paper Trail mandatory Deltarune reading along with Homestuck. Oh no. It definitely feels weird going back to Paper Trail now and being like, oh, this was right and this was super wrong. I don't think Toby's even read it. I think he's got other stuff to do. I think he has way better influences. No. My boarding is fine. It's just, again, director wants things in a different direction. Hence director. I was told multiple times, what you have is great, we just need things different. And that's just the frustrating part. It's not even like, oh, I have to change things. It's like, oh, it was already good, but I have to make it different. I have to do it a second time. Yeah, Homestuck, Guitaru Man. I know. I saw all this. I did see Nighthawk's video on, like, Undertale influences. Deltarune influences. I'm like, I've never heard of Guitaru Man. Looks cute though. Oh yeah, I'm sure there is. Like, just in general, once you're a creator of a certain size, it's like, okay, I can't look at fan content, or at least, like, you know, acknowledge that I've done so, because then, you know, what if the person, you know, did something that I did? We were all planning to do the same stuff, and then it's like, you copied me, you know. At the very least, like, even if he did read it, I don't think he can say so, because, like, if he did say so, and something was the same, then all of a sudden I have grounds to be an ass about it and sue somebody. And, if he never acknowledges that he looked at it, then that's not a problem, obviously. And who wants to create a bunch of, like, oh, thank you so much for subscribing. Thank you. You know, like, who wants to create legal headaches for yourself? Oh, I love Elite Beat Agents. That's a game I totally, like, 100%ed because I loved it so much. A friend from Roleplay got me into Elite Beat Agents, and I played all of that. Family friendly, a Full Metal Jacket. That's not. No, I have to follow the script. Oh, I'm sorry about the headache. That sucks. I had some of those this weekend, or this week. I had to take some pills, make them go away. Bleh. I hope your headache goes away quickly too. But yeah, work is work is work. So. Again, this particular comic, I'm glad I could work on it now, because I'm probably not going to have as much time to work on it in the next few weeks, because I will be a little bit slammed with work. But all of work's gotten slammed, so it's not just me. Come on and slam, and get your work and slam. I don't know. At the very least, I'm trying to, like, absorb what we went over this episode, so that my next episode, hopefully I can do it right the first time and we won't have so many notes. Did that actually happen? Did he accidentally repost fan art, or was that like a Twitter thing somebody made up? I was never quite clear on that. What season is the show on? It's on the first. This is our first season for this show, and I think the reason why we're going through all this stuff is because people in charge are anxious about making sure we get a lot more seasons, which I would like, because that means I keep working. Yes, that did happen. Okay, I wasn't sure. Sometimes, like, you know, social media and Twitter will just make stuff up, and then, you know, you don't know what's real or not. Okay. What was the fan art? What did he repost? So that people might have made up different stuff about that. What did he repost that he liked? Okay, yeah, they made up that they found his alt. Pixel resprites? Okay, that's cute. That's neato. Man, if Toby ever did like or retweet something that I made, I probably would have a heart attack about it. That's probably rough. You can't like actually share of this cool fan art you found that you actually like. It wasn't Delta ruined this time. Accidentally retweets growing pains. Well, that would cause an international incident probably. Being a storyboard artist, you work mostly contract? Yes. Basically, I have a contract for you will draw this many episodes for this show, and it should run this long to this long. And if you are lucky, then you will then get a new contract. But yeah, it's contract work. Community would be in shambles. But also, like, even then, growing pains, I do not think, like, even though I do think, okay, yeah, Susie could be half human, I don't think, like, the transformation aspect is a thing in canon. I did that specifically for story reasons. I don't think that's how it is in canon. I don't think there's a transformation aspect. Oh, retweets glitch tail. Oh, then we're really in trouble. Does it pay well? It pays well enough. It pays well enough for me to, like, you know, save money for retirement. I have, you know, enough money to afford an apartment in a city area by myself and pay all my bills and save. So it pays pretty decent. Honestly, board artist pays better than what the animators get. Animators often have a much crappier pay rate. So, I definitely ain't rich. I'm not making six figures, but I make enough to live comfortably. So, as long as I keep getting work, and I keep being able to work because of my wrist, which is why I stretch all the time, then I should be okay. Although I'm probably about hitting the ceiling in terms of what I can ask for in terms of pay. I would need to move up to a different position, which I'm a little nervous to do. Yep, it's about time for me to do my stretch break. Speaking of, see if we can't finish this Kris first anyway. Do I draw in a different style for my job? Yes and no. Basically, you know, I am looking at different people's different designs for the characters. And I'm trying to do those, but like as a board artists all kind of draw a little bit in their own style anyway. And this doesn't matter because, especially for like a 3D show, I'm working on a 3D show, so like they don't have to follow my boards perfectly. They're going to be using the model anyway. So as long as they know like who each character is, like I can kind of use my own style for it. Is Kris hyperventilating? No. But a thing has happened that is a problem. And the thing I gotta do is my stretch break soon. And that is nice, at least, that like for my job I can kind of draw in my own style a little bit. Again, I'm trying to follow the design documents as they've been given to me. But especially for boards, like, and 3D boards, being on model is less important than like getting your shots correct. As in having the correct angles and cinematography and camera movements, making sure everything's clear, etc., etc. Okay, it is now time for stretch break, and then we'll get back to this. Caddy's being a little bit catty. Wah, wah. That's the joke. Oh, I need more water. Woo. Yes, gotta keep stretching so that I can keep working. Especially if I'm bent over a desk all day. It's not good for your back and your neck, which is why I actually do a lot of neck stretches. That for the neck and the shoulder and the arm. Whew. Yeah, at the very least, work does involve much drawing, but I like doing it. Alright, thanks a bunch for coming. Appreciate you being here, and again, sorry about the snafu towards the beginning of the stream. I'm still a little bit paranoid it'll happen again, because I don't know what caused it, but with luck, it was just my computer burped and exploded as a result. Computer had a brief short. Don't want that again. But yeah, after this stretch, this will probably be our last session before I have to go get lunch. And then you can ship me with the links from lunch yesterday. We'll compare our lunches and then make out in time and space? I don't know. Well, actually, no, that wouldn't work. We'd both be Arrow Ace, so. And the whole system of would you kiss your clone? My answer would be no, because I would kiss nobody. Would you smooch a ghost? No. It is not because you are a ghost, it's because I do not smooch. It's Sans prank you across time and space again. I hate when he does that. I wonder how often that happened to Papyrus. That he knew that that's what was going on. Epic prank, bro. You were walking on a treadmill in a dark room. I didn't even put you in the trash tornado. Sans, why do you have a trash tornado? I mean, he kind of already did that. Whatever was going on with his whole deal with, Clopin. Oh, good grief. Has our Undertale become Deltarune 2.0? I mean, I wouldn't be surprised, but... Alright, be right back for one more stretch. we'll do one more session or so. We'll keep on keeping on. Ooh. I need more water. Water. Kris is having problems. I mean, I guess that makes sense. Like, there's not much else to talk about with Undertale at this point. In terms of, like, speculation for the game itself. The last probably really big thing we had was the anniversary stream. And I guess we also got the concert coming up, which I'm excited for. I'm gonna go to that. But in terms of like the actual game itself, unless you're talking about fan works, the game is pretty much done. And if there are questions to be answered about it still, then those probably would be in Deltarune. And I imagine those would mostly be around Sans. Everybody's favorite skeleton. Yes, he's Mr. Mystery Boy. One deal with Caddy and Jockton is they're a little bit of a pain to fill in because they got so much weird stuff going on. Really, there's more mystery around Susie. Again, as I said previously, I think my thoughts are that Susie is real. She does exist in Undertale. She's a cute little monster. But the reason why her name is spelled differently and why we haven't seen her is because she is a little bit different from Deltarune. In Deltarune, she has a human parent, and in Undertale, she has 2 monster parents, so she might look a little bit different. Because otherwise, you should be able to see her. Yeah, this is a bit of a dangerous situation for Kris here. Yeah, this is the meeting Caddy and Jockington comic. We're finally getting to it. As I mentioned earlier, this is probably our last terrible things happening to Kris comic for a while. And there'll be a part with Shaman, maybe that kind of counts, but not quite as bad. We've tortured Kris enough, probably. Have I come up with new evidence for half-human Susie theory? I'm trying to think if there's anything... Oh, hello! Thank you so much for coming. Appreciate you being here, and I hope you're doing well. I'm trying to think if there's anything that's new, and I can't think of anything off the top of my head. I know there was like a Reddit post that posted some things. But I was like, oh yeah, that's a good point. I would probably count that. Although there were also some things that were like, I don't know if I would necessarily count that. But, I don't know, I would probably redo, if I did that theory video I did, I would probably do it differently nowadays. Because I think I would add some evidence I missed and probably not focus on Sans Papyrus as much, just more focus on Susie. But there is some evidence I missed in that video that I would think about now. Like for example, in the church, when they're talking, during church service, when I guess it's Caddy is going on and on about her thing, and Susie says, "Oh, haha, Kris, didn't you summon a demon at one point with Caddy? I'm surprised they let you in here." And then she pauses, and she's like, "Well, then again, this church does seem kind of tolerant." And that, to me, says that Susie has been in church before and that specifically she has experienced intolerance in church. And the deal with that is, like, the things she was talking about is like, oh, I was singing badly in church, and that's what, and they don't like that. And it's like, okay, but as someone who has gone to church quite a bit, the deal with that is that usually churches do not care if you're not a good singer. That's not all that important. The thing that churches, historically speaking, and unfortunately, tend to get really intolerant about is who you marry and have kids with. So, if I was going to do that video again, I would probably count that line towards it, because the fact that Susie has experienced intolerance in church, like, that is a sticking point in terms of, like, how that would come up. They don't tend to care if you're a bad singer. They don't tend to care if you're poor. They tend to care if, you know, you're not having kids the right way. So, that's a new evidence, I guess. Same as the old evidence. Well, that lies more into, like, okay, what's, you know, the cultural differences going on between humans and monsters in this thing. I forgot that in the video. That's another one I would need to include. I totally forgot the, like, doctors even get me line, and that's a good one. So, I'm a dum-dum. I'm a stupid head. I forgot that. That's like one of the big ones. And yeah, here's a big kitty. Big kitty gonna get you. Jumped onto the desk. I assume you're talking about actual kitty and not the kitty here. There is no desk. They just jumped. They jump scared. They're jump scared. Grief, I hope this comes across well, because, like, the whole, like, right side of her is, like, all black, so there's no, like, defining features. Aw, Orange Boy! Give them pets! They're just looking for some attention! Gotta give them pets! Like I mentioned earlier, I took Alfie's out yesterday, for outside because it was nice and warm out, and I wanted to get pictures of her under the cherry tree with her cute little pink wings she has. And she was mostly just sitting there, and then all of a sudden she leaned over and she ate a cherry blossom, and I was like, wait, stop! And I couldn't stop her from eating the cherry blossom, and I was kind of worried. I'm like, are cherry blossoms, like, bad for dragons? But from what I was able to find online, I did a bunch of research, doesn't look like they are harmful, so... And she's still same as ever today. She's kind of puffing a little bit right now. So, I think she's allowed a flower. But it was just kind of funny because, like, she was otherwise not moving. She was just kind of sitting there enjoying the sun, and all of a sudden she's just like, flower! Nah! I don't know if she thought it was a bug. They do actually eat flowers. They can eat some flowers. Like, I don't really have much for her, but, like, if you want, you can, like, supplement their diet with, like, rose petals or sunflower petals, or I think clover is safe for them. Maybe chamomile. So they can eat some flowers. I think she might have just eaten it because it smelled nice. I know this technically is not an Undertale song, but we have to have Echo on the Undertale remixes. It's just required. Just one of them things. I don't know, maybe she thought it was a bug. There were actual bugs around. I didn't want her to eat those because, like, a wild bug, you don't know where that's in. Yeah, I think it's just a matter of, like, okay, make sure that they're eating plants that are healthy for them and not dangerous plants. So I was trying to look up, like, okay, what plants are dangerous to lizards or bearded dragons? And there was a big list of them, and none of them were cherry blossoms, so I'm like, okay, that should be safe. But there's a bunch of stuff they can eat and a bunch of stuff they can't eat. And even then, like, flowers should not be, like, a daily thing. That's, like, a sometimes food. what I usually give her daily is collard greens and dandelion greens. And she at least ate her collards when she got back in. So I'm like, okay, you ate your actual greens. Like, dark leafy greens are good for them. Although they can't have spinach. Spinach is a no. Collards, dandelion, turnip greens, mustard greens, bok choy is okay. Chard, Swiss chard is okay. Exactly. I need to learn from her. I'm not very good at eating my greens sometimes. Even though I'm getting older and I need the fiber. I saw that Tumblr post about eat fiber or you're gonna get cancer, and I was like, I need to eat more fiber. But I'm not sure how else to get it into my diet more. I don't like beans. And I just realized I was drawing on the wrong layer! How long was I doing it? Okay, not that long. Bran flakes? Maybe I can try those again. Oh, I never really liked the idea of bran flakes. I'm trying, what other high fiber foods are there? Like, I do have an apple every day. You know, I'm trying to, I either have, well, I can probably move this around a little bit more. No, come back. Like, I got some granola and stuff. That's usually okay. Kind of bread I got is kind of high in fiber. Okay, the eye is a special one, not the rest. Broccoli. I don't like broccoli, but do love meat potatoes. How would you interpret the "like doctors even get me" line of half human Susie is wrong? I mean, I guess the interpretation, if that one is wrong, is like, oh, I'm so, you know, cool and, you know, rebellious and stuff, and people don't understand me and kind of stuff. I mean, broccoli is good for you. If you like broccoli, you're smart. So it's not a good thing I don't like broccoli. If you like broccoli, good. But that's a me problem. But yeah, I guess you would interpret it as like, yeah, oh, I'm so cool, doctors don't get me. The thing about it is, the reason why it makes more sense for it to be like, oh, there's something physically different about her, is because that's not really a line that you would say about a doctor. If you're like, oh, you know, I'm so cool, people don't get me. You say that about, like, your parent or your teacher. You don't say that about a medical doctor. I mean, possibly. But why would she still think that about all doctors? Like, she lives in a monster town now with monster doctors. They should understand her. But the problem inherent with all of it is that Susie just does not differentiate between monsters and humans in terms of, like, how she's been treated badly. And it kind of feels like if she was treated badly because she was a monster, living alone, you know, living just in a human community, she would say so. It's a little weird that, like, she makes no differentiation between humans and monsters in terms of who has treated her badly. And it's another reason why I think, okay, this can't just be a human thing, is she's like, oh, you know, I've been, you know, treated so badly my whole life, and I thought when I moved to this town it would be the same way and people would not want me. If it is a strictly racism thing, where people have treated her so badly because she's a monster and they're scared of her, then why would she assume the same thing about a town of all monsters? This is where she should be able to finally fit in. Like, when kids have, like, bigotry used against them, they're not stupid about it. They know why people are hating them. They know why people are being bigoted. It's not a mystery. People tend to not make that a mystery. So if it's strictly humans are racist, she should feel more comfortable around monsters, and she's not. Yeah, that's what I think is the reason why it's specifically against Susie, is like, you know, humans are kind of okay around monsters, but mixed children are rare enough that that's considered like weird and taboo and bad. That it is a thing that is possible but not common. And like as far as Susie is concerned, she's never met another mixed race person. And that would certainly still be in line with, like, you know, our reality where people are also, you know, horribly racist against mixed race people, and that can happen both directions. And so that, you know, in real life, often mixed race children feel like left out of both communities because of that, because of their heritage. And that is how I would see that working here. And that the reason why Susie, like, does not feel like safe or like she belongs in either a monster or human community is because she has been rejected by both those communities. Yeah, again, I'm trying not to get myself too hyped up. I don't want to put myself into a disappointment situation where I'm like, oh, you know, I totally got this right, and then it just gets the rug pulled out from under me. I don't want to do that to myself. At the same time, I'm like, this really is like this is the explanation that makes the most sense to me in terms of like, okay, what's going on with Susie? Why is she saying these lines? What's going on with the blood? Blah, 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 blah. That is actually the simplest and most interesting explanation to me in terms of answering all these questions about Susie and, you know, monster and human culture in general, and blood and et cetera, that is like, okay, this is both makes sense and is in line with like the themes we've also set up in the game. But I know I can't. I like don't count your chickens. I'm trying hard. It's hard to not count my chickens, but I'm trying hard not to count my chickens in case I'm wrong. And you know, then I got to deal with that. I don't want to create problems for myself. What evidence is that Susie is discriminated because of her race compared to her personality? The thing is, her personality didn't come out of nowhere. Susie was not an inherently... those chickens, I wonder how many are there. She was not born into, you know, oh, I'm so rough and angry, everybody stay away from me. It is clear that as soon as somebody gives her half a second, she will just latch like hell onto whoever wants to be her friend. Her act, her sense of like, you know, pushing people away from her and trying to be a bully, that is self-defense. She has said, I've always had to be tough. Now she's, you know, into some, you know, creepy and weird things. She likes blood and guts and slime and blah, blah, blah. But that's not necessarily a personality thing. She talks like basically she has had to develop this bully personality as a form of self-defense. And if it's self-defense, then she did not do that first. People were treating her badly first. Oh, I should have put the rings on the other side of her ear. We'll do that here. So then the question becomes, why was she being treated so badly by everybody? By her family, by strangers, by adults, by children, by monsters, and by humans. Why was everybody treating her so awfully for pretty much most of her life? And I just don't feel like, oh, she was poor, oh, she was kind of dirty and poor is like a sufficient answer for that. The deal with poverty is that, like, a lot of people are poor. That's kind of how poverty works. It's also, like, it's not just the poverty thing. It's the fact that, like, when she talks about herself, it feels like she's kind of estranged from her own monsterhood. She, like, doesn't recognize, oh, there's, like, monster cookie cutters. She doesn't seem to have seen those before. Oh, it takes her a little bit to recognize the fact that, you know, oh, monsters turn into dust when they die. A basic thing that all monsters should know. Why did Kris pick up on that faster than she did? About church making children thing again? Well, basically the thing of it is she's, again, what she says is like, oh, you know, I can't believe they let you in here, Kris, you know, because you tried to summon a demon. And then she stops and she thinks, oh, then again, this place does seem pretty tolerant for church. And I'm saying that, unfortunately, historically speaking, the thing that churches tend to get intolerant about is who you can marry and have kids with. I say this as a Christian and churchgoer. That is a church problem. They are intolerant about that. They don't tend to be intolerant about the fact that you're poor or can't sing well. If they say those things, it's because they are trying to be nice and use it as an excuse to be mean on you without bringing up the thing that actually bothers them, which is the mixed race thing. Like, mixed race things have been a problem in church for a long time. Like the whole miscongenial thing. It is an actual intolerance problem. World's weirdest human. Make the lines look easy? I've been doing this for literal decades of practice. That is how they look easy. And also this is like my favorite part of the drawing, which is why I often do it on stream. Why specific mixed children thing? It's racism. Like, it's racism, unfortunately. A big problem with at least the church in Western cultures and in Europe and America is like race mixing is considered like bad. Like, you're supposed to marry and have kids with your own race. Like, people will make biblical excuses for it. There's really no good excuse for it. It is just racism. That is a long-standing historical thing. But, like, literally, this probably is still a problem. There are some churches that will not marry you if you are mixed race. And they'll claim religious liberty for it. So, that is why I was specifically looking at that church line. And again, as somebody who has gone to church a lot their whole life and knows, you know, how churches work, that, when I stop and think about it, I'm like, okay, this might be picking up on more than just, oh, we don't like your singing. This is picking up on churches have historically been really bad about, not all churches, obviously. Some churches are perfectly fine. But if you're talking about churches being intolerant, then the things they're intolerant about is like, you know, gay marriage and race mixing. Those have historically been a problem, bigotry problems within a church setting. So if Suzy is mixed race, then that would be why she has experienced intolerance when she went to church. She was probably used to being like yelled at, or not even yelled at, not yelled at. So that's the real insidious thing about it, is they're not going to like be direct about it if they're being bigoted and intolerant. That's when they would pull out the "ugh, your singing is terrible. Why can't you sing properly?" kind of thing. It is a softer blow for a more bigoted thing that they would otherwise say. That would be pretty awesome. If I could get some monster features, I would go for that. I want wings so I could fly. That would be so cool. I'd like to fly. It'd be convenient. Probably hard to put those away, though. Human bodies aren't really built for wings. The physics of it don't work, but whatever. If we're, wishes were fishes kind of thing. I'd get big feather wings. That's what I would like. We're doing levitation spells onto Kris. It's not great for them. We're on 5. Okay. Yeah, she gets best of both worlds. You just gotta learn to embrace it a little bit. Now, I don't think that, like, I think there's one of the reasons that, like, people don't like the idea is they're like, no, Susie shouldn't have any weird, stupid reason for being, you know, super powerful. She just is that way. And I'm like, I agree. I don't think her being mixed race gives her special powers over, like, the narrative or anything like that. I don't think the reason why she can, like, defy the game and be like, screw you, Kris, I'm gonna go with Ralsei, or, you know, Happy Feet dumbass and all that stuff. I don't think that's because she's, like, mixed race. I don't think being half human gives her magic powers. If anything, it's just made her life harder. But I do think that's informed, like, the kind of person that she is. Having to deal with, like, this aspect. You know, basically being in a unique minority thing and feeling very alone, very attacked all the time. Basically constantly having to go on the defensive. That is how I think it would inform her character. I don't think it gives her special powers. Not narrative breaking powers anyway. She can just do that because she's awesome. At the very least, she thinks the blood thing is cool. Yeah, like, it gives her magic powers, but, like, only sometimes. I do find it interesting that, in the Dark World, her magic stat is actually really low. She, like, Noelle and Birdley, they seem to just pick up magic pretty quickly. Nobody had to really explain it to them or anything like that. They're just like, okay, they can do it. Noelle especially is really powerful at it. Susie has to work at it. Her magic stat is, like, quite low. Pretty much the only person who has a lower magic stat is Kris, and they can't use magic at all. And I find that exceptionally weird. Basically, that is one of the reasons why I think that, like, okay, even if, you know, monsters are more physical in this world than they are in Undertale, where they're definitely different from humans, there is some element of them that is different from humans, and that thing is, like, what is different from blood. Because otherwise, I'm like, why can monsters use magic in the Dark Worlds, but humans can't? This is a world of imagination. Like, if you can dream it, you can do it. What rule is preventing humans from using magic in the Dark World? That's always been kind of weird to me. Kris has got to have imagination. They made a Dark World. They made the TV world. There's plenty going on in that. Probably more than they wanted to deal with, really. We can't say Snowy was right and humans have no sense of humor. Carol just gave them all the notes from the TV world. No. Make sure you put in a Western one, but make it short. We're going to have to cut that for time. Oh yeah, that's true. It was mostly trauma. It really is kind of a toss-up when, you know, the part where Susie asks, Kris, do you like tenor? Are you having fun? And it's like, the choices are, I'm having fun, or, like, screw that guy. It's like, what would they actually say in this situation? Oh. Highest magic stat in Deltarune. Beating Hammer of Justice is 9, which is the same about Ralsei base chapter 2. And yeah, he's a Darkner, which is probably a different set of rules, but basically she can do magic, but she has to work with it. She's got to practice. So, in that sense, you could take that as evidence that she's half human, because she kind of has, like, a bit of a magic disability. Which is, again, a weird thing to apply to a world of imagination and dreams. But I guess we got some rules to apply to it, because Rouse mentions there's rules. He knows all the rules, and they suck, apparently. But yeah, basically, again, I'm trying not to count chickens before they hatch. I'm trying to temper my expectations. But with the information we have now, it feels like Susie being half human both is just the simplest and most reasonable explanation for these various questions surrounding both herself and the world at large. And I do imagine that will be a big bomb on the fandom, which I'm not quite sure why this is such a controversial thought. Like, there's already so many weird things happening in this world. Why is the concept of, like, this person is mixed race is, like, so unbelievable? It's not. Is it racism? Maybe. Maybe it's racism, maybe it's Maybelline. I don't know. Especially since, like, the trope of, like, you know, humans and non-humans interbreeding is one that has existed across cultures for literal millennia, thousands of years. Is common, especially in fantasy stories and video game. It's full of white people, but we know it's not. Probably don't want to think about how human and monster make a half-hybrid children. Same way you would any other child, I imagine. How did they make Azrael? Probably the same way. You can use it to your imagination, otherwise it's not your business. Maybe the monsters, like, made kids with magic in Undertale. I don't think they do that in Deltarune. I think they have kids the regular way. Maybe it gets a little weird with, like, you know, weirder monsters like ghosts or fire elementals. Maybe that's a different situation, but I won't ask about that. So how do you make human and monster the same way you would any other kid? The birds and the bees. Or in this case, the monsters and the bees. Actually, would that be possible in the series? I don't know if that would, especially since, like, gargoyles lay eggs and humans do not, but I don't know, that seems like the kind of thing that's, like, Greg Weisman be like, I can make it work, probably. That DT Monster be because of Sans? Probably. I'm just of the mind that also, yeah, Sans is also half human. And I think that would happen for character reasons. Madcry says the format to convert DNA into monster child equivalent information. Sure. Why not? It could. Now, to be fair, like, if Sans is also half human, I don't think he was planned to be that from the beginning. Like, I don't think he was that in Undertale from the start. But as an artist and stuff like that, sometimes, like, you do things, and then you come back to them later, and you're like, oh, I can do something with this direction that I didn't think about previously. And it will work. I have had that happen quite a bit, so I wouldn't be surprised if that happened to Toby too. Exactly. Sometimes the story reveals itself to you. Like, I would not be surprised if like, the whole thing with Sans's, like, death scene in Undertale is that it's really weird. It's really weird and different from everybody else in Undertale, and there was kind of an open question as to why. Now, what I can see happening there is basically, like, Toby did it that way originally because it was getting across this big dramatic moment, that was appropriate for the story, and didn't put too much thought into, like, okay, the logistics of it. It's kind of like, we're doing it this way because it works for story purposes. And then you come back to it later and you're like, oh, I can apply this explanation to it and it will also work. I don't know. Like, I don't think his magic is all that powerful. I think what makes Sans so powerful is that he cheats. Like, people always seem to be subscribing, oh, Sans is so determined. He's not determined. He's not a boss monster. He's a weak guy. He's got barely any HP. The reason why his fight is so difficult is because he cheats. He does not listen to the rules of the game. He plays with them. He goes first. He attacks you in the menu. He does, you know, the get dunked on move, which, by the way, get dunked on seems to have come from Susie first. Attacks are very difficult, true. I guess it depends on, like, okay, is a wild attack, like, a sign of power, or what's going on there? Susie also cheats, true. She does not follow the rules so super well. Yeah, Sans is definitely working from, like, knowledge that he has about how things work. How did he get that knowledge? Well, maybe we'll find out. Maybe not. I just realized, oh my goodness, my time's almost up. Okay. So I gotta take a break and stretch and all that stuff and get lunch. So I'm going to finish this one real quick with Catty doing a bleh. It's like when those cats are asked to sniff a thing and they're like, ew, sniffy, yucky. Yeah, there's definitely something weird going on about the fact that Sans is bleeding in the end. Something funky is up with that. It's not ketchup. Like, it's just not ketchup, sorry. But that then does also raise questions of, like, okay, if this is just because Sans is from another universe, why didn't these rules also apply to Papyrus when he should have been from that universe as well? And by all accounts, he is also from Deltarune's universe. But, like, what's going on with Papyrus then? Either way, you have questions. If it's ketchup, we kill Toby Fox. At the very least, we can, like, throw ketchup packets at his house. That would be, like, appropriate. Well, genetic creations is not quite the same as, like, you know, as like a born from a human and a gargoyle. Okay, then there we go. Darn. They're scientific creations. Some people think that about Susie. I don't think she was a scientific creation. I think she was a regular. Same thing with Kris. I think all of our kids are regular kids, even if they've dealt with really rough stuff. Regular children. We're just regular men. We're just ordinary men. Oh, I forgot her whiskers on that page. Get that over. Kitty sniff. Alright. This is where I must stop for the day. But you know what? We'll probably be able to do more of this next week, I think. Okay, Susie is not a darkener. Susie's not a darkener. She's not a lab experiment. She is a kid. She is a cool teen. Mixed race or not, she is a person. But yes, this is where we're going to stop for now. Again, I might be able to do more of this next week. I wouldn't be surprised, because this is going to be another two-parter. So there's plenty to do in next pages that I got to work on. But yeah, thanks so much for coming to the stream. Thanks for bearing with me as my computer exploded there at the beginning. Hopefully that does not happen again. I still appreciate y'all being here. You all are the coolest. I will see you for more TS Underswap, hopefully, on Friday. And then, yes, more of this next week. So, yes, I hope you guys have a lovely day. Go out and get some sun. If you have sun where you are, I probably will myself. I'll get some lunch. And meanwhile, thanks so much for coming. Hope you have a wonderful afternoon. And I will see you all next time. Alrighty, see you later.